Hey everybody, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking to you about the CHP, and so this is the chemical hazards and precautions part of your lab notebook, and that's this guy right here. Now, this is the only part of the lab that is kind of out of order. Well, maybe not. Maybe there's another part. And so I'm kind of giving you these in the order in which you should fill them out. But the CHP is kind of next, okay? And so what you're going to do is in your lab supplement, in the back of it, this one happens to start on page 92. I'm not sure where yours starts. There's a listing of all the chemicals that we are going to be using or that are available to you in the organic lab. What you are going to do, and let me pull up my lab notebook here. Okay. What you are going to do is you're going to look at that list, and after you write your general procedure, you're going to flip to the very back of the lab notebook. Okay. Now, I'm going to skip over because I was using this as a journal at one point. I probably should have just bought a new one. But anyway, so at the very back, and if you want, you can list this as page A1, and then you can keep going backwards. This could be A2, okay, and then A3. And so that's your appendix. That's what the A stands for. And so the appendix in this guy is going to be the CHP for this lab book. Now, in the CHP, what you are going to do is you are going to make sure that you come up with a CHP number. And that's something that you determine your own way. Okay, you're going to come up with the name of the compound. And this is why you have to do this after the general procedures, because now that you've read through the general procedure, you can write the name of everything. And then you're going to write the CAS, the Chemical Abstract Service number. Okay. And then you're also going to write the okay, scroll down a little bit. Okay. You're going to do the health, flammability, and reactivity rating. Okay. And then you are going to write down the flash point, F, flash point, the solubility, that's what S stands for, and then the W, which is the waste code. Okay? And so you are, in essence, going to write down every chemical that you're using. So in this first lab, I can go back to my general procedure, and I can kind of highlight what I'm doing. I think the first thing that I'm using is ethanol. Okay? Ethanol. Okay, so I'm going to go to this list, and I'm going to look up what ethanol is. Ethanol is here. Okay, so ethanol, CAS number 64-17-5, and I'm going to give this a CHP number, and this is a number that you will make up, but since it's the first chemical in my volume 1, my first volume, I'm going to call this 1-1, okay? Or the first chemical, if you're using by lab, it's lab 1, chemical number 1, okay? And then you're going to fill in the health, flammability, reactivity, flash point, solubility, and waste code in there. So I will also reveal to you that for this lab, for lab number 1, you're going to have 6 of these chemicals. Okay, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6. And I will tell you, depending on your level of particularness, how particular you are, if you're going to do this perfect, this name thing should be alphabetized. Okay. Now that's a little too particular for what I am grading on, but I might as well give you that the whole thing there. I'm not going to count whether this thing is alphabetized or not. Okay. Now again, I want to make sure that you understand why we're doing this. So we're doing this so that you have some idea of what the chemicals that we're using are, okay, or how dangerous they are. If this has a health, and this is a 0 to 4 scale, if this has a health of 4, okay, then that's pretty dang dangerous. Okay, if this has a flammability of 3, that thing is going to catch fire all over the place. Okay, if the flash point of something is like 54 degrees Celsius, that's really low, and we should probably be careful of what we're using here. Okay, so that's really what we're dealing with. Okay, did I say S was solubility? S is storage. This is how we store things. Okay, and again, so if any of this data looks weird or high or strange, it's something to keep note of before you come into lab. Okay, and so that's why we do it. If you read it, you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. But when you write it down, there it is. It's a reference. Now, this CHP number that we have written, I will say that you can also then, for the remainder of your lab, you can then refer to ethanol as just 1-1. Now, in these labs, that may not be as valuable because ethanol is ethanol and people know it. But one of the things that can happen in organic chemistry is you can have these names like 1, 2 dimethyl. Like you can have these names that go on and on and on and on. So it definitely helps to be able to refer to the chemical as 1-1. Okay? So that's how you set up a CHP, and that's why it's important. And we'll go from there.